Well, good morning, everyone. It is indeed a great day here on the Hill at Florida A&M University as we commemorate this historic agreement between the Coast Guard and Florida A&M University. Yeah, we give that a round of applause. All right. Welcome to the official Memorandum of Agreement signing for the FAMU College Student Pre-Commissioning Initiative of the United States Coast Guard. I am Louis Dilbert, Director in Military and Veteran Affairs here at FAMU, and I have the esteemed honor of serving as your Master of Ceremonies for today. We have a short but significant program for today, and we thank you for taking the time on this beautiful Veterans Day morning to join us. At this time, we'd like to ask that all of our veterans and active duty service members please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your service each and every day. At this time, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Ms. Caitlin Mobley, a freshman psychology major, will sing the national anthem. Let us rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Mobley.
Okay. I'll take it off. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet waved o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Ms. Mobley. We might have to bring you back for the halftime show, the football game, so some people here can probably make that happen, all right? So thank you again for that beautiful tribute. Next, we will have Samaya Mohabed, U.S. Marine Corps veteran and president of the FAMU chapter of Student Veterans of America, come forward to deliver our welcome and occasion.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Here we go. I am Samai Mohammed, a fourth-year interdisciplinary studies scholar from Orlando, Florida, and I honorably served in the United States Marine Corps for 8 years. Now I serve as the president of the FAMU chapter of Student Veterans of America. Welcome to the highest of Seven Hills for this significant moment in the history of Florida A&M University. On this Veterans Day, we are gathered to solidify an agreement with the U.S. Coast Guard to facilitate training and recruitment for the U.S. Coast Guard College Student Pre-Commissioning Initiative. With this agreement, FAMU will now be connected to 5 of the major branches of the military and add to the rigorous training of future soldiers, sailors, airmen, and now guardsmen. At FAMU, we take pride in our commitment to serving past, present, and future service members, and this agreement will further the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs mission to excel at meeting the academic and social needs of service members, veterans, and their families. To our veterans, we thank you for your service. This is your occasion.
Thank you, Ms. Muhammad, for your leadership and your service. At this time, I'd like to bring forward our COO, Dr. Donald Palm, for some remarks.
So good morning. What a great morning. First of all, I'd like to say, again, happy Veterans Day weekend. And it's truly timely that we are signing this memorandum of agreement with the U.S. Coast Guard. First of all, again, I'd like to send a warm welcome to U.S. Coast Guard Rear Admiral Will E. Watson, Director of Governmental and Public Affairs. And again, thank you for being here. This is so important for us. And again, welcome to the highest of Seven Hills, where, of course, as you should know, that Florida A&M University is the #1 public HBCU in the nation. And so we really take that very serious. But as we actually excel to the #1 space, we have a strategic plan that we have put in place. And the #1 priority for our strategic plan is student success. And as we know, it takes a village. And the partnership here today with the U.S. Coast Guard is going to help us continue to make sure that our students are successful out in the world. And so this U.S. Coast Guard College Student Pre-Commissioning Program initiative is truly, truly timely as we round off striking from the top. And so again, I just want to welcome you all here today. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to stick around for some Rather football later on this evening. And so again, I'm looking forward to really talking to many of you as we continue this relationship as we move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Palm. At this time, we'll bring forth our Provost, Allison Watson, for some remarks as well.
Well, good morning again. It is always a pleasure to welcome military and to be just in your midst. I was made on German soil and born on Andrews Air Force Base, so it is always near and dear to my heart to recognize the military. I want to talk to you about why our academic programs helped us get to the #1 public HBCU spot. I am proud to represent our students, faculty, and staff and provide a few highlights of FAMU's academic programs. Through our 14 colleges and schools, FAMU offers 54 bachelor's degrees, 29 master's degrees, 3 professional degrees, and 12 doctoral degrees, which prepare our scholars in any of their chosen fields. As we embark upon this journey with the military, we know that that will also forge the path as we work towards Carnegie Classification R1. We also have an Ignite program that we have established a 2+2 partnership with 120 of the 28 member Florida college systems, providing direct access to specific degree programs at FAMU once the AA degree is completed. This is one of our many excellence with caring realizations. Our FAMU School of the Environment recently unveiled our Indoor Air Quality Center of Excellence in the partnership with Aura Air. The faculty from the College of Agriculture and Food Science have recently been awarded $15 million to investigate the development of biochar-based, climate-based practices and technologies that can be implemented on farms. In both of these initiatives, our students will be exposed to and trained with the latest in research opportunities. Our School of Allied Health Sciences is proud to have 100% pass rate over a 3-year period in their cardiopulmonary science occupational therapy program. This dedication of faculty and staff has led to a partnership within our own community in the state of Florida through the Hospital Corporation of America, HCA. As you all can see, these types of partnerships are what we need in our military forces and what will be continuing to strengthen our United States. I'm very honored to sit before you today as the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs and look forward to this memorandum of agreement and what it will bring to FAMU. Thank you, and I wish you well.
Thank you, Dr. Watson, for your support and your leadership as well. At this time, I want to introduce some special guests with us today. You're all special, but we have some distinguished guests that are with us. Give me one second. Make sure you follow protocol. All right. When I call your name, if you could stand and be recognized. We have, of course, Rear Admiral Will E. Watson, United States Coast Guard. Dr. Donald Palm, Chief Operating Officer. Dr. Allison Watson, Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost. Sorry. Dr. William E. Hudson, Jr., Vice President of Student Affairs. Mr. Bomani Spell, Associate Vice President of Student Affairs. Dean Valencia Matthews, Dean of the College of Social Sciences, Arts, and Humanities. Brigadier General Leroy Bell, stand and be recognized. Lieutenant Colonel Chris Everett, Commanding Officer of the Army ROTC. Dr. Eugenia Gardner, U.S. Coast Guard Recruiting Command Outreach Specialist. Commander Eric Quigley, Executive Assistant to the Rear Admiral. Adria Tibbets, Esquire, Senior Real Property Attorney Advisor. And the man who really is the kind of the brainchild of all this, who brought us all together, Lieutenant Colonel Ricardo Kinsey. Colonel Everett of the U.S. Space Force. Carmen Cummings, Assistant Vice President, Alumni Affairs. She's around here somewhere. Keith Miles, Director of Communications. Oh, they're working in the background. And we have some FAMU alumni who are amongst our C-SPY alumni. We have Ensign Nicholas Walker, former drum major for the March of 100. All right. And Ensign Alexandra Grayson. So they're helping us with this recruitment initiative to get some folks in. Lieutenant Brianna Villegas. OS1 Raymond Bradley. SK1 Nicholas Pryor. Petty Officer 3rd Class Andrew Kendall. And Petty Officer 3rd Class Evan Owens. As they say in the church, take it to my head and not to my heart, that I forget you. I will introduce our Program Assistant for Military Veteran Affairs, Mr. Aaron Baker. At this time, we'll have Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. William Hudson, come up for some remarks.
So good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to take this opportunity as well to welcome you to the highest of 7 hills, where we are about the business of making sure our students have the best opportunity to be prepared for this global economy. This is definitely a joyous day. When I think back to when I arrived at Florida A&M University, and we did not really have a veterans-specific program. We had Veterans Affairs, but it was just paper pushing. And coming from a military family, I knew a lot of the needs of students as well as our military veterans and children of military veterans. And I wanted to create an atmosphere to where they had a one-stop shop for any of their needs on this campus. So I developed a plan to show the productivity of our student veterans and children of veterans. And it was amazing at what I found. We often say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And that's definitely true for this case. The numbers showed that the vitality that was brought to this campus by our student veterans really made a difference. They participated, they engaged, they showed leadership. And so we developed the Veteran Affairs program with the help and approval from our university president and our senior leadership team, and we've been thriving ever since. So much so that the state chose me to lead the committee for veteran credit, college credit, for their activity in the armed services. And so that was a big accomplishment, and we just got approved this past week on Thursday to include even more credits for our medics that serve in the armed forces to have college credit when they come to colleges. So this is a big deal to me. I'm very passionate about it. Many of my mentors, some that are here today, really encourage me and support me in all of my efforts. And I just want to tell them thank you for your continued support of everything that we're doing here at the university. We really are passionate about this, and as you can see with the leadership that's here today, that we really value this MOU and this effort. It was the brainchild of our great alumnus, Rick Kinsey, when he sought me out and called me and said, "Hey, Hudson, I have this idea, and I think you're gonna love it." It took 2 minutes for him to convince me, and we were all aboard and ready to go. I pulled in Mr. Dilbert, Dean Spell. We started doing the research, and with the help of the staff and everyone involved, Dr. Eugenia Gardner, we were able to get this together in a short amount of time. When you really look at when we started to where we are today, it was nothing but God. It was ordained to be successful, and so we're going to continue this partnership and make sure that it's very successful. So I'll end it here and turn it back over to Dilbert.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson, for those remarks. At this time, I am going to introduce Rear Admiral Willie Watson, Director of Governmental and Public Affairs for the United States Coast Guard. Rear Admiral Watson serves as the Director of Governmental and Public Affairs for the U.S. Coast Guard, where he is responsible for external engagement with Congress, the media, and other intergovernmental entities. In his previous assignment, he served as Executive Assistant to the Vice Commandant, providing support and counsel on all matters pertaining to the administration of the Coast Guard. Admiral Watson's operational tours include serving as Commander, Sector New Orleans, where he directed all Coast Guard missions in the area of responsibility that includes the Louisiana Gulf Coast and the Mississippi River system from Baton Rouge to the Gulf of Mexico, among the largest and most complex coastal and port areas in the United States. Of note, during his tour of duty, he served as an incident commander for Hurricane Ida response and recovery operations following the catastrophic impacts of one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever landfall on the U.S. mainland. Admiral Watson also served as the commanding officer at the Marine Safety Unit, Lake Charles, from 2012 to 2015 as executive officer at Marine Safety Unit, Texas City, Texas, from 2010 to 2012. Admiral Watson's staff assignments include serving as senior military assistant to the Secretary of Homeland Security from 2015 to 2017 and as congressional affairs liaison from 2007 to 2010. Indeed, a distinguished career. Admiral Watson holds a Master of Science in National Security Strategy from the National War College in Washington, D.C., a Master of Business Administration from Loyola University, New Orleans, Louisiana, as well as a Master of Arts in Education and a Bachelor of Science in Biology from Xavier University, which he is very proud of, in New Orleans, Louisiana. Admiral Watson is a 2016-27 Fellow of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Seminar 16, on learning my Roman numerals, on foreign politics, international relations, and the national interest. Admiral Watson's military awards include the Legion of Merit, the Meritorious Service Award, a Service Award Medal, the Coast Guard Commendation Medal, the Coast Guard Achievement Medal, and the Military Outstanding Volunteer Medal, and the Armed Services Medal, and various service and unit awards. Ladies and gentlemen, introduce Rear Admiral Willie Watson.
All right, good morning. Good morning. All right, glad to be here this morning. I take that comment you made about it being warm and you were wiping your brow. You know, I'm the son of a preacher too, so I know about that. That's about the time my dad's getting started when he does this. That's when he's just getting ready to get started. So glad to be here with y'all this morning. First off, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to all of those who have served and sacrificed for the freedoms and the way of life that we now enjoy. Special shout out again to my dad, my hero, who served in Vietnam and was wounded. He's a combat veteran from Vietnam. Combat veteran turned Baptist preacher, so you can imagine how my life, how it went. You know, it was pretty interesting. Also want to give a shout out to General Bell. So thank you for making the trip and for being here. And thank you, FAMU, Mr. President, team, for welcoming us here today on this occasion. I'm honored to represent the Coast Guard and our Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan, as we commemorate this partnership between the Coast Guard and FAMU. And I want to thank all of the staff, Lieutenant Colonel Kinsey, President, and all of the support that is here today. I wouldn't name you all off, but there's so many of you, which is indicative of the great support. Thank you so much. The memorandum of agreement that we will sign here shortly is just an initial step toward what we expect will be a fruitful relationship going forward. We're offering opportunity from internships to externships to scholarships to employment. We're offering opportunity. And we know that the talent is here. Young professionals that are looking for an opportunity to make a mark, to make a difference in this world. And we are here to say that you can do that in the United States Coast Guard. Speaking further on opportunity, I remember when I was a junior at what I believe to be the greatest educational institution on the face of the earth, Xavier University, down in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I was first exposed to the Coast Guard through this program, in fact. And I was, at the time running low on resources, running low on money. I should say my parents were running low on money. And we were trying to figure out what was going to happen. I was on my way back home. And I ran into the Coast Guard recruiting team, and they told me about this program, the C-SPY program. And I was telling my parents about it, about how this program was going to pay for my tuition, books, fees, and room and board, and then on top of that, they're going to pay me, $3,000+ a month, and I didn't have to do anything, just go to class and keep a 2.5, and when I graduated, I go off and I become an officer. And as I still remember, as I was telling my dad this, and he was looking at me like, boy, he said, look, I thought that I raised you better than that, for you to go down there and let these people hustle you like this and tell you that they're going to do all this stuff. He said, there's no way that is real. He said, there's got to be a catch. But I'm here to tell you there was no catch. It's a real thing. And I had a great time finishing off my college career as a member of the Coast Guard and moving into the service and serving. I thought I was going to do my 3 years and move on, and now 28 years later, I'm still in. And there's a reason for that. It's because of the opportunity, because of the ability to do things, to do big things very young inside the organization, to give you responsibility very early on. And some of the things that I've seen and done, I'm off script now, but anyway, some of the things that I've seen and done as a member of the Coast Guard, as an officer in the Coast Guard, I'd venture to say that maybe less than 10% of the world's population will see and do, just because of the places I've been, working with Secretary Jay Johnson as his right hand, and working as General John Kelly's right hand, working on Capitol Hill, serving as a commanding officer of many, many units as a sector commander, and saving lives and getting engaged in major response operations that matter, that help people, that save people. It's stuff I'll never forget, and it was opportunities that I had because of my service within the Coast Guard. And so I think it's a tremendous opportunity, but of course I'm biased, right? But we're here to offer that to the young folks here. But not just that, there's all kinds of opportunities available. We have one of our senior counselors here. Counselor, wave your hand there. Counselor Tippins there. One of our senior lawyers is here, just to talk about what we have, the needs we have in the legal program. We have internships with our R&D center. There's all types of opportunities that we're working through for students. And we're here to kind of offer that as a part of our relationship, our partnership going forward. So I'm not just here to represent the Coast Guard as signature authority for the partnership agreement. I was here to also tell you about my experiences and what it did for me. Listen, we know that FAMU holds a wealth of talent and produces prepared professionals. You have done so for 130 plus years, I understand. From, if I got this right, from 15 students and 2 instructors back in the late 1880s to what we see here today. And it's remarkable what you all have accomplished. And we want to be a part of it. So thank you all for allowing us to join in with you. I have no doubt that this will be a long-lasting and fruitful relationship for the Coast Guard and for FAMU. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Watson. Again, we thank you for your leadership and your support in this, and we agree. Under Dr. Robinson's leadership, this will, and future presidents, this will be a fruitful venture and fruitful partnership. At this time, I'd like to bring up again Dr. William E. Hudson, Jr., Vice President of Student Affairs, to introduce our 12th President, Larry Robinson.
Thank you. I have the honor and privilege of introducing our president, Dr. Larry Robinson, the 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. Dr. Robinson started his college education at Lemoyne College and graduated from Memphis State University, now the University of Memphis, in 1979 with summa cum laude honors and a BS degree in chemistry. He received his PhD in nuclear chemistry from Washington University in St. Louis in 1984. In that same year, he joined the research staff at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, where he was a research scientist and served as a group leader of the Neutron Activation Analysis Facility. He accepted a position as a visiting professor at FAMU in January of 1995 and left Oak Ridge National Laboratory 2 years later to accept a permanent position as faculty at FAMU. Here at FAMU, he became the director of the university's Environmental Sciences Institute. In addition to conducting research on environmental chemistry and coastal ecosystems, he had a leadership role in establishing the new BS and PhD programs. In 2003, he became FAMU Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, serving until 2005. In 2007, he became the university's Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Research and served several weeks as the school's interim president. He left that position to become Assistant Secretary for Conservation and Management in the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. In November 2011, he returned to FAMU as a professor and special assistant. And in March 2012, he was named Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. So the brief statement that I can make about Dr. Robinson, he served every role at this institution, from interim president to janitor. He swept floors, he's mopped. You'll see him on Wednesdays, Fried Chicken Wednesdays with the students in the cafeteria, and Fried Fish Fridays. He is a student servant leader and a servant leader. He not only leads our institution, he advocates for all of us, and specifically the students in the state of Florida, but also nationally in Washington, D.C. He serves as a mentor to many and a friend to most. He is a husband, he is a father, he is a servant leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the 12th president of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, Dr. Larry Robinson.
Thank you, Bill, and good morning, everyone, in particular our friends from the U.S. Coast Guard. Thank you so much, Admiral Watson, for joining us and giving us this great opportunity. I do want to also say Happy Veterans Day to our veterans, and thank you for keeping us safe here at the homeland and wherever we are around the world. I do want to give a particular acknowledgement to our Rattlers in Arms for all that you do to support this institution long after your retirement. So thank you, Colonel, for you and your team. I do want to thank, yes, Admiral Watson, you made a great choice, in going to Xavier, but you could have done better. You could have done better. You see that right there? Now, I know Xavier is a private institution, and for so many years, we were on their tails, right? We finally passed them this year, right? But what a fine institution it is. And, I think every HBCU provides a great opportunity for young men and women to be the best of themselves, just like you do in the U.S. Coast Guard. And what we do at FAMU is through these kinds of partnerships is expanding the horizons of students everywhere. One of the metrics that I'm most proud of is the fact that we ranked 21st in the nation in terms of social mobility, which is the measure where our students come in. And a lot of them, just like I did at the Morenon and Memphis State, have those same kinds of challenges that you're talking about, and I know exactly what you mean. And so we really appreciate this opportunity to get more of them out into the world to show the world what they can do. And I was born and raised in Memphis too, right? Born and raised, went to Southside High School, right? There on the South Side, and we like to tell our students that you can get anywhere from Florida A&M University. I don't care how you get here, it's how you get out that matters, and programs like this is going to help us in that regard. I have a special sort of respect for the Coast Guard because first, the niece that my wife and I raised, Patricia Robinson Brown, she just retired from 20 years in the U.S. Coast Guard, right? She and her husband, Ken Brown, living in Arlington, Virginia, right? So they just retired from that for, 20 years. And then I was sworn in here on the steps of this building on May the 10th, 2010, as NOAA's Deputy Administrator. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, as Dr. Hudson referred to, the broader title. On May the 11th, I was flying out over the BP oil spill. My primary assignment was to work to help, resolve that issue on behalf of the citizens in this country in the states ranging from Texas to Florida. And every morning for about 4 months or so, we had a call with the Director of Homeland Security, but the boots on the ground was Dad Allen, the Director of the U.S. Coast Guard. So y'all did a wonderful job of keeping us together as we resolve one of the worst, in fact, the worst oil spill in the history of this country. Thank you so much for that. Now, boldly striking strategic plan emphasizes our commitment to student success, and all of these rankings are about that. You know, in this plan, we have several strategic priorities, but the one that they all get back to is making sure that we do things to advance the lives of our students in the special places that they come from. Now, many years ago, when I served as director of the Environmental Sciences Institute, there was perhaps a predecessor to this program called SEGRIT, right? Some of you have probably been around enough to remember that program. We did get a couple of young men or young ladies to the Coast Guard Academy through that program, but somehow I'll take the credit for it. We let that fizzle out. But I think we have a much greater opportunity here, right? A much greater opportunity here to expose these young men and women to the world of the Coast Guard and all of the things that they can become as a result of being part of it. And for that, we are really thankful. And we welcome you here, and to all of the veterans and citizens here today. I think we ought to all acknowledge the work that the Coast Guard does to keep us safe, and all of the other military branches that are here as well. You know, to save this country from immediate peril, because we have so many people out there who don't want to see us continue to prosper in the way that we do. So I thank all of these individuals here in uniform and those of you who are outside of uniform. I know how special it is, the work that you do. Now, I will say another personal story, Admiral Watson. So, at one point in my career, at Memphis State, you know, my mother had to take early retirement, right? And things were tight. They were hard. And one thing I considered, because I was still interested in nuclear science, was the Navy. Because, you know, under former Admiral Rickover, he had a nuclear Navy program. And so I took a couple of tests, right, in the recruitment office, and went on about my business. A couple of days later, when I came home from school, there were 2 naval officers in the living room with my mother, right? And apparently I scored well enough on this exam that they figured that we need to get this young man into the Navy. And everything was going well, right? I mean, it was all going well. I even got over the idea of being on a submarine for 3 months. You know, I was gonna, you know, do this training. Some of it was gonna be in Florida, and then I was gonna go to the Naval Academy, all that kind of stuff. But here's what broke the deal. Really, the Army broke the deal, General Bell, because at the recruitment event on a Saturday morning, where all, you know, young men were in the room, some of us a little older, some just right out of high school, and there were some young men in there seemingly having a good time. And this Army officer came in, and at the top of his voice, he screamed, "Shut the hell up. You're about to be in this man's army," right? And so before Michael Jackson ever considered the moonwalk, I said, let me go back and take on some of these chemistry classes, right? But anyway, thank you so much. I understand how important this is to you and to Florida A&M University, and welcome. Thank you.
And a moonwalk out of there. Okay, I understand. Well, thank you for your considered service, Dr. Robinson. At this time, the moment we'd all been waiting for, we'll have President Robinson and Rear Admiral Watson join us at the table, as well as our university leadership and our Coast Guard leadership will join us at the table for the signing for a few photos. Might need some assistance in orchestrating this.